Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. We're almost to Friday. I think some people like to call this day now Friday Junior. So excited to be speaking with you all tonight, and we're going to be joined by some amazing co-hosts as well. So unfortunately tonight, Scott is not able to join me live with us. He's had some unexpected events turn up, and so he's with us in spirit, but instead I'm going to bring on a new co-host tonight. So welcome to the show, Jennifer Mitchell. Jennifer is our amazing Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert and Showcase School Leader Program Coordinator. So I'm super excited to have her with us tonight and step into Scott's shoes. So welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, tonight we're going to be talking all about STEM education, the Hour of Code, since we celebrate that in the month of December. And there are so many amazing learning opportunities out there and resources that we're going to be discussing tonight and sharing. But before we get kicked off and bring our special guest on tonight, Jen, I was just going to kick it over to you for a minute, and maybe you can share a bit about your experiences as an educator yourself in teaching coding and doing activities with young ones.
Absolutely. That was my favorite thing to do with my kids, especially the little ones, because there's so many great activities that are basic and beginner that even with paper and pencil or small activities, kids can begin to understand the building blocks of coding. And I just had so much fun with my little ones doing little activities. And I always remember that my kids would make it a competition. Who could do the best? Who could do it the fastest? Who could fix it quickest? And I remember one year I had my girls versus boys, and what do you know, those girls, they took the prize that year. And so it was just a fun experience to see the kids come together and really problem solve and start working through the fundamentals of coding.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Jennifer. You know, a lot of teachers may be thinking, well, I'm not a computer science teacher. You know, I don't know anything about computer science. I don't have a background in that. Why would I do activities with my students? And it is about that problem solving and skill building. It's the fundamentals. So whether a student has aspirations or desires to be a coder later on in the future or a developer or anything like that, it doesn't really matter. It's that problem solving skill that's so important that they learn through these activities. But I'm really excited to welcome our guest tonight that we have on the show. We've got an amazing Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert with us joining us tonight. She is a classroom teacher. She teaches 9th grade entrepreneurship at Tesla STEM High School in Redmond, Washington. And she is an amazing shining example of really empowering women and girls in this field. So without further ado, let's bring on the show the amazing Melissa Rincey.
Yay! Man, that was a nice introduction. I'm trying to look around. Who is it?
Oh, come on. We're so excited to have you tonight and really just have everyone out there who's tuning in, learning from your experiences, sharing some of your expertise, and really just excited to, you know, learn and uncover what you're able to do with your students, even at the high school level, around teaching STEM and coding and in your entrepreneur class. Really excited to learn more about that.
Cool.
So we'll go ahead and kind of start off, Melissa, with, you know, as a educator yourself, and particularly a female educator, how did you really get into this desire to teach STEM and teach coding as a person yourself?
Well, first of all, I think part of my interest in it, and I had to do some kind of reflection about this because I always wondered, like, why didn't I go into this ahead of time? Because I remember my dad saying, you're going to go into computer science. And I was like, I don't want to, Dad, no. And I realized that for me and for the females that I deal with, one of the things that I've noticed that there's a piece of it that came into, like, if you're sitting in a programming class and you're just looking at straight up code, and it's like, that never interested me because I just don't think logically, like loops, for loops, and, you know, iterations. And I don't think like that. I think of hands-on, what can it do? And so that's when I noticed the difference with my girls. And honestly, I was thinking about this because, you know, I had to do my homework, and I was thinking about the little Arduino. And I can remember I went to this class, and it was a class, and basically it was by, now I will forget his name because I'm nervous, but it was by a teacher, or basically he was a guy who was in charge of doing the animatronics at Disneyland. And his background was in let's teach you about animatronics. And that was the way I got interested in it. So then I started, and this was way back in 2013, where we go, okay, well, let's just do an Arduino project with a piezo buzzer, and let's just do a servo motor. I'll just do something quick. And, and then from every year it built on, because you would watch, and this is where we're getting that feeling. If you would watch people take it over and go, girls go, this is amazing. I love doing this. I understand why I want the servo motor to do this, because I want my LEDs to light up a rainbow, and I want my buzzer to make this sound, and I want to program, like Moana, and they understand it. And that's where it becomes so powerful, I think, for your underrepresented students in STEM, especially in CS, is that idea of, what can I do with this? How can I solve a problem?
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things that get you the most excited about specifically working with girls and getting girls into STEM? What is it that just really gets you the most excited?
Well, that's actually my research. So the whole idea of seeing women in these fields is pretty amazing, because what we've been doing with our high school girls, and this started around 2014, is one of our girls goes, well, what about if we started doing outreach to our middle school? And I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. And so we started this program. We started doing this outreach. And then every year it's grown so that it becomes different and it looks different. And it's typically females that are doing the leading. Sometimes we'll have other people coming in, but it's typically females that are leading. And what's been changing over the last few years is the females are leading males, and they're leading all different groups of people. So it's not necessarily binary, but what we're watching happen is people look to these females as the leaders. And I think that's that piece that I think is the most important, is watching them step into leadership and people see them as leaders. And then you also have this piece where they find themselves being respected as leaders. And then there's that theory of self-efficacy, where they've seen themselves solve problems and they become encouraged to become the next leaders. And the part that where we're really seeing an impact, when we know it was a really big deal, was when those high school people graduate and go on to the university, and they're now doing their own programs, because they've had kind of that breadth of experience of leading, and now leading in other areas. So we have a lot of our returnee alumni that come back and go, oh yeah, I'm doing this, or I'm doing this at the university. Or one girl, and she was telling us how she was in a CS program, and she said, it was experience for me to go back and be menteed in the university. And then I turn around the following quarter and was now a mentor there. So it's great to get that feedback of hearing them stepping into roles of leadership.
Speaking of that, Melissa, I know recently you were able to share with me some of the work that your girls have specifically done around that, and providing that mentorship opportunity for others. Can you share a little bit more about that with our audience here tonight? Because I was just blown away about the website that they designed, everything around it. So I think other people would appreciate learning about that experience.
It gives me the most joy to talk about this project. So I will probably be like totally animated for a long time. But what happened was, during the shutdown, when all the teachers are like, what the heck am I going to do? How am I going to do Teams? And our staff stepped in and went, okay, I'm going to learn Teams, whatever. So these high school girls who were sophomores at this time were already hosting this evening event, and it was with Microbiz, and they were hosting elementary students, like 5th grade girls, in the evenings for this program that we were hosting in February. Well, in March, everything shuts down. And these girls said, well, we have a duty, because they're paying for this program. They paid $20 for the microbit. And the girls are like, we have a duty. We're going to have to keep going on this. Well, I wasn't in touch with them at all, because they do it all without me knowing. And I'm like, oh, this is great. So they end up contacting the families and said, hey, how can we continue this program? So they created the curriculum and sent it to them. Well, that wasn't enough for them, because they're like, well, you know what? We should really do something over the summer since we have this time. So they contacted a library contact we had worked with before, and they said, well, why don't we host our own stuff online via Zoom? So all through the summer, these high school girls have led programs where they've been teaching teaching through the Redmond Community Center and the public library system. They've been leading Zoom sessions on programming, and they have different levels. They were doing one group that was doing programming in Python, and some that were doing CS, or they were doing Scratch. So there you go. They just make me look like I wasn't doing anything all summer, because they're doing all the work.
Well, that's because they were inspired by an amazing teacher to make that possible. So you should definitely give yourself a pat on the back there. But I mean, I was just blown away by the efforts of the work that they've put in for this. The desire to give back to the community and help others is tremendous. And, I think this is where I always think about education. And these are the projects that, not even something you assign, but there was a purpose. There was a reason and a passion behind the work here with the girls, and they have a real audience. They've got customers essentially that they're bringing into their experience. So I think it's just an amazing experience for these young ladies to kick off their careers in this way. And so kudos to you as their teacher for inspiring them.
Thanks. I do. Yes, I do. I appreciate you saying they took the initiative. I do have that one piece to share with you, and a shout out to Tammy Dunbar. She and I talked to each other and said, hey, let's do something together. So again, the same group of females. So by the way, this is all leading up to me having all this research done that they're doing for me. So we found contact at Foundry 10 who said, I talked to them and I said, we got some girls who are doing some amazing things. They just need some microbits. And they go, well, do they want this curriculum? And I go, no, they do their own curriculum. They write their own curriculum. They do it all. Like, even though we have all that stuff available for us in Make Code, I'm like, I noticed you guys never use it. And they go, yeah, we're going to make our own. And this is the way we learned it. So we want to teach it this way. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. And so then found a grant where they could talk to Foundry 10. Foundry 10 had them pitch their grants, whatever they wanted to do. One of the grants was funded, and so we were able to purchase microbits for Tammy Dunbar's class. We had 35. Tammy Dunbar just happened to have 5 on her own. So for her 40 kids that are in her online academy this year, they each have a microbit, and then these high school leaders have now trained up some more of my new freshmen coming in and some sophomores. So now we have about 10 to 15 kids a week who are leading these sessions in Teams rooms, not breakout rooms yet, of course, but into Teams rooms. They're doing, I know, I can't wait. But they're doing Teams rooms where they have those 4 groups that are leading sessions. And so Tammy's kids come back, and my kids have said, oh my gosh, I love working with them. They are so animated and they're so intuitive. And I'm like, it must be Tammy. So it's been a really fun session. We've got a few more to go before the end of the year. So.
Well, that's super excited. And those children are definitely, very lucky to have Tammy as a teacher, you as an educator supporting this project, and your students really leading the way here and shining up and showing up as shining examples. I'm getting kind of a little tongue-tied this evening. If you just had to kind of sum up like a few comments from some of your students about their experience being in, a school that focuses around STEM and some of these initiatives, what do your students think about that, if you had to kind of summarize their thoughts?
Sometimes I think there's 2 things that I think of. Like, the one thing I think of is that not everybody is a fit for this. Some people are passionate about other things, and it's cool. One of the parts, and I was going to talk about this at some point when we were talking at BET and doing a project. And one of the things that I love to talk about with my boss is that whole concept of yes and, that whole improv concept. And that's the way she runs with staff. And then she has we do the same thing with our students because she supports us. So we get to do the same thing with our kids. Like, when they come to me and they have an idea and they want to try something, I'm like, and let's do it. You don't want to say no because they're so excited about it. So I think that's the thing, is we try and find a fit for every kid to want to do something that they pursue. And the second thing that this ties back to is not every kid that comes to STEM likes STEM. They learn that they finally love science, a lot of students, but the thing we want any kid to think about is they're not an imposter. they're just learning differently and different things interest them. So nobody should feel like they're an imposter in a CS program, like as an underserved person or underrepresented in an area. Like there's so many people we need to bring to the table. I guess that's what I would say is nobody's an automatic fit for STEM, and we need as many disparate voices as possible.
Absolutely. And I think also included in these voices. So yeah, I mean, you've got many different students that, are interested at different levels, into the STEM field and STEM careers, but also just teachers teaching these things. So, I mean, obviously you have a deep passion for it and a lot of purpose and reason behind it, but for, maybe the average person out there who didn't grow up with this, didn't really, has never maybe even gotten excited about this. And I think I've even seen at some point in time where teachers have sat in workshops and then they were fumbling with, some of these microbits or Arduinos or different things. And you can see the frustration on their face because they're like, I don't get it. This is not native to me. Why do I have to do this? And that's the moment that I love the most because it's when they're really uncomfortable. And I'm like, you're not feeling your students feel every day. They're having to learn something new. But how do you break down those barriers and for teachers who may be more resistant to trying some of these new activities? What are some entry level points or suggestions that you have for advice to get started?
I think it's what you just said, Robin. It's like that. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to fail. It's okay to feel like I'm not doing this right, and know that there's different avenues for doing it. So I can't remember who it was that just posted this out on Twitter, but there's like 5 different languages to show the same thing that people could be learning. So I guess it's that willingness to try something different if it doesn't work, that willingness to walk away from it and come back to it and just keep thinking about it. Maybe that is the successful thing for some teachers. And then I always think like in the class, like, why do you have to be the experts? Like there's so many kids that want to step into this role that might not even be a good leader in so many other areas, but they like to be the expert in programming and they can show something. And then you could sit back and give them a challenge like, well, what do we want to do with this? And then that's where that entrepreneurship piece in that teachers are really good at, but we don't give ourselves credit for it.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Well, Melissa, we're so excited to learn from you and, continue to see the amazing accomplishments and achievements of the students that have passed through your classroom and from Tesla STEM High School. We're so excited to have you guys as a part of our Showcase School family for sure. But before we let you go, we wanted to play a little lightning round if you're up for it.
Well, I hope so. But this will be the embarrassing part because I don't think I'm quick on my feet. But okay, I'll try. Right. I got to be willing.
Well, I'll give you some easy ones first. So why don't we start off by telling me what's your favorite food?
Coffee. Coffee and cake. See, I already didn't do it.
Okay. What about your favorite holiday?
Not 4th of July. I don't know. See, look at lightning round. I'm not very good at this. Thanksgiving. No, I don't like that now anymore. No. Patrick's Day. I'm going through them all, or they're just not working for me anymore.
It'll come back to normal at some point. Fingers crossed. All right, we'll give you another one. How about your favorite sound?
Ooh, the cat purr. I'm a crazy cat lady. I like to hear the cat purr. Or the UPS truck. The UPS truck. I like that right now. I love it.
And the opposite of that, what's your least favorite sound?
My car, the grinding of your car brakes. Like when you're going down the hill, you know that you got to now take it in because there's something wrong with the brakes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also a super scary moment. Yes.
No, it's a grinding one where you got to replace rotors or something.
All right. Yeah, we're going to take it a little bit harder. Are you ready?
Oh, wait. Okay.
What job outside of your current position would you most like to attempt?
I don't want to be a barista, but I did scoop ice cream for years, and I would definitely go back to that. I would definitely do that. Oh. But architect, if I actually had to go back for training.
Awesome. What job would you not want to attempt? Barista.
I would not want to be like a production assistant or be somebody's like errand person. Yeah, no thanks.
Oh, all right. And then the last one, when your career is over, what do you want your colleagues or your students in your case, maybe to say about you at your retirement?
Good luck. I hope you enjoy that beach house. And I plan to catch up with you on Skype.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us tonight. We're going to stay on for a little bit longer. We're going to share some different resources that are available out there for teachers to get started with Hour of Code, or some new STEM activities that they can do in their classroom. So feel free to stay on with us tonight. And for all you that are on the show watching us live tonight, we'll continue on with sharing some resources with you. But thank you so much for joining us and sharing your awesomeness and expertise and your great sense of humor as well, Melissa.
Well, thank you for a chance to brag about my kids. You know, I really like them. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Melissa.
Bye.
I love just getting to hear the amazing things that she does with her students. It's so inspiring, for sure.
You know, it's the real world application that is happening, and the things that the other lives that her students are now changing because she inspired them to think outside of the box and is giving them, you know, a play space and an authentic audience out there. So really exciting to see what they're doing now, but even more so to imagine what's going to happen with these, you know, young individuals and their lives in the future, and what the next things that they're going to make and build are.
For sure. I just can't help but think about what like amazing colleagues and employees they'll be one day, you know, just growing up with that, practicing leadership and practicing, you know, clearly these kids are working together. And so just building just all around great skills moving forward. So awesome. Yay. Follow Melissa on Twitter if you aren't already, to see some more of the great projects she's doing. So let's talk STEM and coding.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
It is that time. So we're just going to share a few resources with you guys. We have quite a few. You know, you might want to grab a hold to one or multiple of these ideas, or maybe one of these sites that you can go check out and explore and learn. And like I said, don't be afraid if you're an educator out there, if this seems unusual or new to you. That's all right. Like, it's okay to fail. It's okay to get frustrated when you try it the first time. I would encourage you to give an opportunity for your students to do something that they've maybe never done before, and learn with them, and lean into them being the experts here too, and be the learner with them in the classroom. So we're going to kind of start off by talking about Codeorg. It is an amazing nonprofit out there that is providing many students, teachers, lots of projects, lessons, and courses to learn coding. And they provide activities for students starting in kindergarten. So if you're not already out on Codeorg, we definitely say go to that site now, bookmark it, and really kind of, see what all lessons and activities are available out there for you. All right, over to you, Jen.
Yeah, the next part is actually from Code.org, but I just think is so helpful and relevant for teachers right now. They have released this year Code Bites, which are mini lessons. They actually designed them to be delivered virtually. So for the educators and students that are still in a completely virtual world, maybe they're hybrid, maybe it's both. They're just great, quick lessons. They're interactive, live lessons, last 20 minutes. But really get kids thinking about the concepts of coding and ways that they can practice. And so I think they are a great resource that you can, as a teacher, quickly grab and share with your kids to jump on live, or they'll share the recordings. But a great way to kind of start bringing coding conversations into your class and giving kids some experience there.
Awesome. All right, the next one up is Hour of Code. So for those of you that are not aware, December 7th through the 13th is Computer Science Education Week. And so this is a worldwide effort to help everyone celebrate computer science and show that anybody out there can learn to code and learn the basics. So you can go to hourofcode.com for more information. There are a ton of FAQs, a ton of resources out there. And all these lessons, again, are meant to be digestible and able to be done inside of a classroom. It's called Hour of Code, meaning that you can spend 1 hour at a time to get kids interested in using code. And again, the activities are going to range everything from getting little started to maybe users that are a little bit more advanced.
Yeah, and I will tell you, Hour of Code was one of my favorites as a teacher. That's what I used with my kids. That's what got me started, because it was so easy I didn't know where to begin, but it had great, easy things for me to be able to take and do with my kids, and then they got started. So great one. It's one of my favorites. The next one we're going to talk about is Make Code, which is one of our Microsoft awesome projects going on. And Make Code is all web-based, which is so great for no matter what device your students are on, where your kids can jump in and code right inside of their web browser. And it works with a bunch of different devices like the microbit that we've talked about a little bit, or the circuit playground, but you can see a bunch of devices there. But this year for Hour of Code, they have some really awesome arcade activities where students will get the chance to create their own little retro arcade game. So it's a fun way, all on the web, no extra devices needed, can be done from any type of device as well. So great way to get kids started. And who doesn't want to make their own video game?
Yeah, and it's free, right?
Free. Yep. Don't forget that. Probably the most important.
All right, the next one up is Minecraft. As you see, my background tonight is Minecraft, and Minecraft also has an Hour of Code activity that we've developed here at Microsoft for students to be able to participate in one of their favorite gaming platforms, but through the Education Edition, and do this in a meaningful learning opportunity. So there are lots of wonderful coding opportunities with Minecraft. There's also an entire 30-hour curriculum for students. Everything can be found at education.minecraft.net. All of the activities are aligned to standards from CSTA. And then for our Hour of Code this year, they have released an activity called A Minecraft Tale of Two Villages. It's a super cool challenge, but students are able to bring coding concepts and bring two villages together while building skills of empathy, compassion for their neighbors, which we know are skills that need to be taught, especially in this remote and hybrid environment we're in. We really need to kind of build some camaraderie, some empathy for our students in the classroom. So check out the Minecraft Hour Code resources. They're there for you. And again, all available at education.minecraft.net.
Yes. The next one we kind of want to hit on is PhET simulations, which is all math and science based, done by UC Boulder, University of Colorado Boulder. And it's just a great way for students to practice math and science in a hands-on environment, doing over 150 different simulations. And so it's a really cool way to kind of practice with things they might not be able to do hands-on, especially right now where you might not be able to have labs and activities like that for students. So another great resource to check out for your students.
Awesome. And then the last one we're going to share with you is Kodu. It's Kodu Game Lab. So Kodu is a 3D game environment, and it's designed to teach kids the basic programming principles. It's also completely free to use. There are many resources and tips and tricks on the website that you can take a look at. But if you go to kodugamelab.com, you can see all of the amazing resources that is available for the Kodu Game Lab experience for learners as well. And with that, we hope that you take advantage of leveraging some of these resources, spend a few minutes on some of these sites. Like I said, dedicate an hour, a couple of hours in the next couple of weeks to have your students try an activity that maybe they have never done before. And we encourage you to do the same too. Step out of the box, be a little daring, risky. And whether you teach computer science or coding or math or science, it's irrelevant. Even if you're an English teacher, you can have students go through this experience, learn how to problem solve, and you can even have them write a creative, writing assignment on their experience doing this for the first time, right? There's so many different ways that you can incorporate this into other curriculum areas as well. So maybe just try something different and new, or maybe you're an expert already and doing amazing things. If so, we want to hear and learn from you in the future as well. But before we wrap up tonight, we did want to give an amazing shout out to our Epic Educators. So every week we recognize some educators who are doing some really awesome things. So tonight, Epic Educator number 1 goes to all of our training partners who are supporting the NYE playground at ISTE tomorrow. So there's going to be an amazing experience where educators can come in during the virtual ISTE conference that's happening right now, which Scott and I shared about a couple of weeks ago. And we just want to say thank you to all of our partners that are volunteering in the NYE Play Zone at ISTE tomorrow. So thank you guys.
Yay. Our next Epic Educator is Mr. Steve Isaacs, who just had a book birthday. His eSports education playbook released, I think, yesterday or the day before. So just got released, and so super exciting. If you don't know Steve, then you need to learn, because he is one of the great leaders in esports and education, and really paving the way. And he, with this book launch, wouldn't be a surprise. So super excited, and congrats to Steve on such a great accomplishment.
Jen, I can't.
Yeah, I'll get it. It's fine. The last Epic Educator is to Lindsay Munoz. Inside of the NYE Expert community just last week, they had a peloton competition between NYE Experts. So any of the NYE Experts that have a peloton jumped in and did a race together. And so shout out to Lindsay for taking the race from everybody. Apparently she took it in the last few minutes of it, and maybe made some other people disappointed. So congrats to all of you guys, and yay for taking care of your health. I was not brave enough to join.
Well, yeah, I know you have a Peloton, Jen, so, you know, there's no excuse for not joining the next NYE Peloton race.
Yeah.
That's I want to see your name up on the screen. That.
Oh, it will definitely be at the bottom, but I will definitely give it a shot.
That's okay. We all have to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
It gives you a lot of opportunity for growth and improvement.
For sure.
You maybe get the most improved award over time. See.
Oh gosh.
Growth mindset.
There you go.
Well, hey everyone, we're so excited for you tuning in tonight. Hopefully you were able to learn something new, maybe grab a new resource, something to put in your arsenal of ways to engage students creatively in the classroom. Another shout out and thank you to Melissa Rincey. Definitely give her a follow if you're not already following her across social media. She always is sharing a lot of her resources, and just seeing and being able to celebrate the work that her learners are doing and trying to replicate that across other classrooms is absolutely phenomenal. So we definitely encourage you to reach out to Melissa and follow her if you're not already. And we just thank you for your time tonight. Thank you so much, Jen, for stepping in for Scott tonight, as he was unfortunately not able to join us, but we are looking forward to him being back just in a couple of weeks on our next episode. So with that, I would say tune in on December 15th if you want to join Scott and I. We're going to share a little bit about some different holidays and different things. So be on the lookout for our next episode. You can always watch the recording of this episode or any of our previous episodes at the website below. So at aka.ms/US Microsoft EDU Live. That is the YouTube channel where all these recordings exist. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and hope everybody's relaxing and getting ready for the holidays.
Yep. Bye, everybody. Happy coding.